through this pretty quickly today as far as going through the markets. So for those that cannot join us at 8 o'clock, they can just review a very quick video. On the gold, on the 1440, so far it has retraced to within about 10 points of the ATR. You did retrace back to the ATR over on the 720. And so far it's actually been increasing volume as it approached there. Now again, we often see a bounce down off of the ATR regardless, okay? And this is sort of the case now where we're getting a bounce down off of that. What would hold price up? Well, that's very simple. The ATR on the 180 is probably going to hold that up. Now that means that it may bounce down below the ATR on the 45-minute. You can see the congestion dot is at 1219 and the ATR on the 180 is at 1217. So it's about 11 tick. I'm sorry, about 1 point away from the ATR. So that's what I would expect, and we may still see that fulfillment of the ATR retracement on the 1440. Does everybody understand that? It took me a while to get that out for some reason today. Okay, let's go and look at crude. Okay, crude, we're not magenta over here on the 1440. We're about $3.50 away from the ATR on the 1440. I would think that it would come back and test this ATR, not because we have a magenta peak, but because that's typically what we see. Yeah, the Buddha trade would be a good setup on gold. You're right, Whipper. So on this one, I would still anticipate a retracement back to 92.80, and that's exactly the value that I would plot on one of my lower time frames. You can also check to see where this ATR is, which is at 91.85. So that's about $1 away from the ATR on the 720. Right now, you're probably going to go back to this ATR. And you can also see as this pulled back to the ATR on the 3-minute, you see that you had diverging volume there. So that would have been your entry, except I think let's see what the risk would have been. It would be 40. You were running about 12 ticks of risk. So on crude, actually, that's acceptable because crude is a very, very volatile market. I would take profits. If I was risking 12 ticks, I'd take 24 ticks. So entering here at 94.40, you would need to go to 91.64, which it's probably going to do because this is at 91.85. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go to the NASDAQ. Okay, on the NASDAQ, the first thing that stands out at me is that we are at a congestion dot on the 1440. Again, the same scenario. I would anticipate it to go back and test that ATR. I would also expect that on the 720. ATR is around 4100 on the 1720. It's coming down on the 1440. They may coincide, both of them together, at 4100. We see that a lot. Now, in order to get up to this ATR, it will need to break the ATR over on the 180-minute chart. You're going to have a lot of buyers come in. Now, you do see that the ATR on the 45-minute is supporting that. You also see here there was virtually no sellers in that market. So I would anticipate at least going up to around 4,100 as long as they break the ATR on the 180-minute chart. Does everybody understand that? You do have nice, strong, healthy volume over on the 45-minute for buyers. So they very well may do that. Okay, let's go and look at the Dow. Okay, the Dow is at the ATR on the 1440. It's missed it by, I don't know, maybe 20 points. On the 720, I would anticipate it to go back and test this ATR. Again, pretty much the same scenario. It's going to have to break the ATR on the 180 before it can get to the ATR at 17,216 on the 720. So the main ATR today that it needs to break would be the ATR on the 180. That's at 17,059. That's the value that I would actually have on my charts, because this will probably be a substantial value today. If they do break it, then the next value would be up here at 17,216. Any questions on that one today? All right, moving right along, we're going to go to the S&P 500. 17,059. Let me go back and look at it. On the 180, it's 17,059. That is correct, CC. Okay, let's go look at the S&P 500. S&P 500 pretty much the same. It's missed the congestion dot just a little bit. Okay, you are at the congestion dot on the 720. Okay, so I would anticipate it to go up to this ATR. Again, the one thing that is standing in the way is the ATR on the 180. So this is the value, 1984.75 that I would have on my charts. Okay. It would have to break it and retest for a possible entry, correct? It depends on where your entry is, Chris. And the reason that I say that is, for example, over here, do you see how you had the divergence? And, you know, the close of that bar is 1701. Offset the ATR, 10 ticks if you want to, okay? So let's say it would be 16,990, and you entered at 17,001. Try to get 30 points for a profit, not 30. You're offsetting it by 10. It gives you 11 ticks total. That's 22 ticks. So from here, you would want it to go to 17,023. Are you with me so far, Chris? Now, is there room before it gets to the ATR? Well, yeah, there's room to spare. So you could potentially scalp that little bitty entry there. But let's say that the ATR moves up to 1730, okay? It's been a big move. You moved up to 1730. Then you really don't have room for a profit, okay? So don't even think about that one. Does that clarify it for you, Chris? It's looking at risk to reward. Is there enough room for profits? Okay. Now, does anybody have any questions on the S&P 500? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. You're expecting it to go up to this ATR. I would expect it to break this ATR, okay? That would be my anticipation. Especially considering that buyers came in on that bar. But any questions on that? Let's go look at the Russell. Now, the Russell's a little bit different because you're already at the ATR. Okay? price is at 11.17, okay? And the ATR is at 11.20, so that's about 3 points. So that's about 30 ticks, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is one I would bypass and let it break that ATR. Okay? Now, the one thing that is different also on the Russell is that you're getting this magenta peak here, which tells you, yes, in fact, we should retrace back to the ATR. If you're trading that, okay, you're going in off of the 45-minute. There was your entry point. Do y'all see that? Now, I don't trade the Russell at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not one of the markets that are tradable, in my opinion, of course. At 3 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't have enough volume, okay? So typically, that's not a market that I would be trading, okay? But that is an excellent example of you have a magenta peak on the 720, you go to the 45-minute, there's your entry on the retest of the ATR. Any questions on that? Now, this is a counter trend trade, and it's based on the 720-minute. Now, this one, you know, I would probably try to stay for Clipper 3 if I was in the future side of this. And the reason is very simple. Your ATR is way up here, okay? And your entry is 11.12. Somewhere around here, okay? So that's a lot of room. Do y'all see that? So that probably tells you you would get all 3 Clipper levels if you were trading the futures. Now, if you're trading the binaries, there's multiple binaries that you could do on that. You could do a couple of out-of-the-money binaries, okay? You could do a couple of spreads on this. You know, if any of you watched the crude video that I did, I think I had 3 or 4 different trades on crude, all of them based because they were going up to the ATR. Yeah, but this was back here, Chris. It wasn't at the ATR. It was actually back here. You had plenty of room there. And if you're in the binaries, you probably already took your profit target. Yeah, 1144, it's actually 1145.1 is where your binary, your ATR is, CC. But now remember that will pull down towards price, okay? But again, just, you know, watch your 180-minute chart, the ATR. And you could see a bounce down. Remember, if it comes back to an ATR, it normally bounces, and then it goes through it, okay? Considering that this is probably going to happen at the U.S. market open, we're going to get a wide bar probably. That would be my anticipation. Any questions on that, guys? Now, as for the currencies today, I'll just pull this over. You can see that the dollar is going up. Aussie's starting to head down. The yen is going down. Euro, Swiss franc going down. The Canadian is going up. I would not want to be trading the Canadian today because it's moving in the same direction as the U.S. dollar. You could trade the Canadian against the yen, though. Well, this is why I use the scanner, because the scanner tells you at a glance, okay, at the 180, you're 39 ticks away. Okay? This is the purpose of a scanner. And then in NinjaTrader, we have the market analyzer that will tell you, so, you could always use it. Now, the problem with the market analyzer right now is that if you're running a lot of charts and a lot of market analyzers, you'll run out of memory. NinjaTrader is working on that. In NinjaTrader 8, we will not have that issue. And hopefully it'll come out soon. But, I mean, the scanner does, in fact, tell you, for example, you're getting divergence on gold. There's a magenta peak. It's 250 ticks away from the ATR. Okay? Let's see, anything else? On the DAX 180-minute chart, you're 221. But yeah, it is. I'm having some issues with my DAX. I've got to go and clear my cache, so that's why I'm not showing it. But you can see that, even on the 45-minute, you have a lot of room to actually take profits if you were to get a magenta peak. Okay? And the same thing on the currencies. If you're looking at the currencies, let's see if we have any currencies that are overbought or oversold. The Swiss franc is at 66. That is pretty high, but it's not at 70, and that's on the 12-minute chart. On the Japanese yen, you are getting a long divergence, 12 minutes at 65. That's not one I would typically trade. I would want to see those higher values on either the 45 or the 180. And we don't have any scenarios like that today. And we don't have any scenarios where the RSI is overbought or oversold as well. And just, looking at the ticks to the ATR, there's nothing there that I would even want to trade back to the ATR because, for example, the yen, that's only 11 ticks away. Okay? So that tells me there's just no counter trend trades right now. If that's what I wanted to do, there's nothing available. Okay? Any other questions this morning, guys? We do have it for NinjaTrader, Bonnie. It does not display the same as in TradeStation and multi-charts. Hold on just a moment, because while I'm in the room, I might as well tell everybody this. There is, in order for us to get it to display like TradeStation and multi-charts, we actually need everybody to write NinjaTrader customer support, and I have a case number for everyone. If you'll give me just a minute here. And we'll copy this up, and what they want you to do, because if they do this for us, and I mean, this is what's phenomenal to me, Bonnie, NinjaTrader actually listens, and if we talk to them, they actually will give us what we want. So if everybody will email platform support at ninjatrader.com, and I'm putting it up for you, and then reference the suggestion ID, which is and I'm going to send out an email requesting everybody do this as well. Hold on just a minute, George. I'm going to copy it into a window where y'all can see it. Okay. You email this support, and I suggest everybody do it, and reference the number SFT-127, because I have talked to them, and I have told them and sent them, I was actually online with them and showed them the different ways, okay? So if you email them and they have this reference, and anybody that you know that uses NinjaTrader, get them to do the same. Tell them that we want, the market analyzer to appear more like an Excel spreadsheet. Then we will absolutely be able to have the same as what we have in multi-charts and TradeStation. The issue is we haven't asked for it. And, of course, I'm very vocal, so I said, why can't you do this? And they said, well, nobody's asked for it. I said, well, that's because we're not used to asking for something that we want and actually getting it. So they have assured me that if all of us ask in and request it, if there's enough demand, then we will get it. Okay? And I've been trying to finish the book, so I haven't had time to do it yet. And the difference, and this is a major difference, each time frame is in a row on the scanner and on radar screen. In Market Analyzer, it's columns, okay? And I have to design each individual indicator to work in the Market Analyzer. If we change the format over to this, then y'all get a lot more functionality, and you can track a lot more markets. And we can do a lot more with the tools for y'all. Okay? So it's up to y'all. Oh, yes. It's real-time in TradeStation and multi-charts. It's rows versus columns. You need to be able to insert different time frames as rows instead of columns as it is right now. We have to design the indicator to work on a particular time frame, which is, and they'll know because we had a very lengthy conversation, and they had thought about doing it, but the demand was not there, so they didn't do it. And you know we want to change that, so. All right, guys, any other questions this morning? Again, if you're interested in the new binary book, it is available now on the website. If you just go to tradershelpdesk.com, which is our main site, over on the left-hand side, it is available, a beginner's guide to trading binaries. It's only $9.99. I tried to keep it relatively inexpensive for everyone. Yes, I will be gone next week, Bonnie. I'm doing a seminar in Las Vegas next week. It's a 5-day seminar. So we will not have any trading sessions next week at all. Okay? Stoker, I will send you a GoToMeeting request now as soon as I end. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started on that. Anybody else, if you have any questions at all, just let me know. And otherwise, have a wonderful